It's Denise Lee, and I'm going to give you a tour of this Google Applications semester course. I am the creator of this. I'm also a Google Certified Educator and Google Certified Trainer. So going from what you're seeing here, this is the lesson library for the teachers. When you do your download after purchasing the semester course, you actually don't need to download all of the things that you are downloading. You just need this. This is the lesson library. And in this one document, I linked literally every activity for students, as well as a good student example of every single project. That way you can show your students a stellar student example. It is my experience in the classroom that students will often want to hurry through projects. When you show them good student examples, they're like, oh, that's how detailed she wants it. Oh, that's how intricate and fancy that's supposed to look. So showing them a good student example, it gives them an idea of what the caliber of work you want them to have. So you can see this lesson library is extensive. It is the whole semester in one document. You do not send this to your students. This is your teacher's lesson library, but this is where you're going to get the lessons to send on to your students. You can see here, you are going to click on the Google timeline. After you click on the Google timeline, you are going to be prompted to make a copy. You're going to make a copy, and then that copy you send to your learning management system. You can see that highlighted here in yellow, there are pacing suggestions, pacing guides. That is how long it takes the student to complete the activity. That does not include teacher instructional time, or if you have a reflection time, that doesn't include it either. That is the time it takes the student to complete that project or that activity. So after students learn about Google as a company, which is an amazing story, then they're also going to learn a little bit about the Google Waffle, or the app launcher, and the Google interface. After they learn that, you can see there's a section on Google Slides, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Forms, Google Earth, Google Productivity and Simulations, Google Sites, where they're actually creating a Google site, and then Google Projects. You can do these in any order, but I prefer to teach slides before docs, and slides and docs before sheets, and so forth. However, the projects and the mini simulations must be done after students are learning all the things. Now, some of these also include Google Contacts, Google Calendar, and Google Keep, and some other really super cool productivity tools in Google. So I want to show you what it looks like that you are sending your students. The very first project that they do here is a Get to Know Me activity, which is great to build that connection with your students. You can see now you're looking on a very wide screen because I am in my studio at home. What the students are going to be seeing actually is not as wide of a screen. They are going to be seeing this, which appears to be nothing. The glory of these, about this particular About Me slide, and many of them are like this, is that they are going to want to slide over on the end to see the prompts in the side. The prompts are telling them what to do, and it is instructing them. So they don't need a handout, a separate handout for this particular one. They have the prompts right on the screen. They just need to scroll over. So this is their vibe slide. They are asked to type their name in a fun font and a fun color. It's telling them exactly what to do, and then it's showing them visuals on how to do it. Over here, you can see that this is a function that a lot of students do not know, and this is how to put a border. You can put a dotted border or a slashed border around what they're doing. So this is a copy of a good student example. Any student names in student copies or student examples are not the actual name of the student, just an FYI. I'm refreshing here because my internet is a little bit slow here today here at home, but you can see that this student, Ashley, we're going to call her, this is her vibe slide from the prompts that I just showed you. The next slide, and I'm not going to walk through all of these, but the next prompts is asking them for their ideal vacation getaway. Again, you're learning about students while they're applying some concepts to Google Slides, and they're adding a border. And then in this one, they are adding 5 favorite foods and then they are adding a border. And this one, now they are learning how to remove backgrounds. They're learning how to maybe layer items, arrange items. And I'm going to go back to the student example here and show you what a good student example looks like here. And again, the prompts are in the side for the students. So that is the About Me. I'm also going to show you another one, and this is a small business activity. This one, again, has all the prompts in the side. This is a more advanced one where they're learning different concepts, different tools, different functions in Google Slides. And again, at the end, there is a rubric for this particular one because I would use this one maybe as an assessment project. But they are doing different things. A good student example is given, and they're asked to use a small business in their area. Now they're getting these images and these pictures from the internet, from the company website that they're doing this on, but they're learning how to incorporate building blocks and a whole bunch of other great tools that are built right into Google Slides. And some of them are newer tools as well. This is a wonderful project that's also in there. This one is called Friendsgiving Dinner, and I always do this before the Thanksgiving break. You can see here they are incorporating Google Keep, Google Calendar, Google Docs, Invite, as well as Google Slides. And all of the prompts are right here, as well as the area in which they are to screenshot or snip what they did to show mastery or the concept learned. My students absolutely loved these projects. And this one, they're actually making a tablescape. Why did they love this? It was a little bit of a creative outlet. And to be honest with you, these turned out so well in my classroom. I opted to print out this slide number 7, the tablescapes. This is a student example right here. They could pick whatever they want for their Friendsgiving. So this person had buffalo chicken dip, they had pizza, they had wings, and they had cupcakes, whatever, to each their own. And I printed off the tablescapes because they just ended up being so wonderful. These are just some visuals that I have that students can make a copy, Control C, and then several paste, that was Control V, and then they can place them on the table themselves as they are going along. Here, they're going to want to flip it over. They're learning so many different things in this particular file. So even though they're kind of playing with it, it's a great opportunity for them to learn. Now, up here earlier, they're doing their guest list for this. So since they're doing a guest list, they want to make sure they're setting the table for the certain amount of people that are coming to their Friendsgiving. So that's the Friendsgiving one. I also wanted to show you the Google Keep activity. Now, students are first learning. Now, this is all in that lesson library that I showed you at the beginning. I'm just giving you some examples of some projects that are in this lesson library. In the Google Keep, they're learning about what Google Keep is. And I always tell my students, don't sleep on Google Keep, because Google Keep is a simple, fast, easy, and free productivity tool that is on everyone's phone if you download the Google Keep app, which is free, or on your Google waffle in the upper right-hand corner, or your app launcher. So here they're learning about what Google Keep does and what it is. After they learn about Google Keep and what it is, they're actually creating some Google Keep task lists. And you can see here a visual for students of the interface. Everything is incorporated in this activity. And then again, a rubric for this small project as a 12-point project. This is a Google Sheets mini simulation. This is one where I am instructing you on the Google lesson library to print out this 6-page packet for your students. Once you print out this packet, you can use it year after year, just like if you have 20 kids in the class, print out 20 copies of this, staple them together, and then put them in a file folder, and you can just pull them out. It's easier for students to do a Google Sheets mini simulation with a copy instead of the prompts being on the screen like some of the previous projects that I showed you. All of these have visuals of the interface. And so when you're talking about cells and you're talking about the address and you're talking about where to put the title, you can actually project this on your Promethean board and use this as a visual in your instructional time with your students. And then you can see here that these are all for the students to complete. Also, in this is what it looks like as a teacher's key once they're done with that particular simulation. This is one of my very favorite ones. This is a Google productivity file where they are learning, as you can tell, in job 1, job 2, job 3, different components. And you can see on the very first slide here, they're learning Google Docs, Google Calendar, they're incorporating Google Slides, Google Sheets, and Google Contacts, all in this one mini simulation, which can be used as a test or an assessment at the end of this course. This is a living room project for the holiday season, and I had students that celebrated all different types of winter holidays from Christmas to Kwanzaa and Hanukkah. So I asked my students in this prompt to incorporate 8 of the following in their living room. And this is actually a screenshot of one of the examples that my students did in class. This is the file you actually send to your students. So they're going to pick 8 things like a nativity, a Christmas tree, a menorah, a Kwanzaa candle set, a rug, an elf on the shelf. Boy, did we have fun with the elves on the shelf. And then this is a visual showing them how to add a drop shadow, how to remove a background, how to flip things around, and so forth. They get to pick one of these empty living rooms, delete the other ones after they pick the one. And then I also incorporated some good student examples, again, so that students can see what stellar work looks like. Boy, did my kiddos have fun with this. And again, I had to print these out because they were so good. I have this as well for a dream bedroom. Again, students are literally picking whichever one, deleting the other ones. So this is what it looks like at the beginning. And these are some good student examples. Check these out. Again, students are learning how to take images from the internet, how to remove backgrounds, how to flip them around, how to change the shape of them, add drop shadows. You can see the drop shadow added to this. And that is all visuals that are in the project. So if you don't know how to do it yourself, those are all incorporated. Of course, to add a shadow, watch this chair. To add a shadow to this chair, I'm going to just add a drop shadow and make it bigger. You can see a shadow growing underneath there, and I can increase my blur radius, and now there is a shadow there. So students are learning all of those great desktop publishing things that you can do in Google Slides. How awesome is that? And again, this is all done in Google Slides. I also have a great conversation with students about terms of use and clip art and using clip art for commercial purposes. Of course, this is for educational purposes. So, we are allowed to do what we want for educational purposes. This is a Google Slides training file. You can see this is in the margin, but there is, of course, a good student example of what it should look like at the end after students complete this training file. How awesome is that? This is one of my very favorite things to do at the end of the semester or at the end of the year. I will be honest with you here. I'm going to change this date. I also have done this in January as a come back from holiday break thing. So they can do it for their review of their previous year or do it before holiday break for the end of the year. But this is what it looks like when students start it. And you can see the prompts are in the margin. Here they're incorporating emojis. Here they're dressing the mannequin to kind of like their style of that year. And this is a good student example. Look how fun this is. This is their favorite show and their favorite snack to eat while they're watching the show, their favorite movie. They dress the mannequin. Like if they were looking back at this, this picture's taken a hot minute to load. Look at the emojis. They didn't even realize they could incorporate emojis. This is the timeline of their life, which is so cool. But yeah, I printed these out for my kids so that they had a hard copy of it. I printed 4 per slide so that I was saving paper. And then the kids they just cut out the little squares and they had a little book of it. And then we stapled the book. Some put ribbon around the book so that it was almost like a little time capsule for them. Speaking of time capsules, there's also a time capsule in this one as well. So this is just a brief tour on what this course looks like. And again, this is a super great way in which Teachers can stay organized. I didn't even talk about it, but there is a Google Form activity, a great Google Earth activity, Google productivity simulations, Google Sites, projects, the whole thing. Thank you so much for your interest in my project.